we're ready to start.
I hate being on camera. Okay, welcome. Thanks to people who replied about the catheter video. Everybody's names in the drawing that replied for our little movie bucket. So thank you for watching that video. It helps us train everybody in a fun way. So few things. I feel sometimes bad saying these things to people who are here because I know that a lot of you already do these things. But checking schedule, so super important. Not just to make sure you know who, your shifts, but sometimes we accidentally put someone in the wrong shift. So if there's somebody that you don't normally go to or that you didn't agree to, make sure that you reach out and let the office know. Or if there's someone that you usually go to and they're not on there, let us know, because then we can say, oh, well, they're going out of town or whatever. Or maybe the computer system just did a fun thing, which it tends to do that every once in a while. So anyway, we just want to thank you for coming next month, and Diane will tell you more about it, but it's our mandatory one where we're learning about adult protective services. Because as caregivers, we are mandated reporters. So if we see elder abuse or suspect, we are mandated to report that. So please come to that. And if you can't, when we send you the link, we really, really need you to watch it so that you know what to do. I feel bad pulling the name. Who wants to be the name puller? Vicky's up front.
Vicky can do it.
But I'm not in there, so
That's okay. Then we won't know you're putting preference for yourself.
she pulled her own name.
Okay. How funny. It's Alina.
That is funny. I didn't do it, I promise.
Nope, everybody's names.
I put the names
Diane
in.
put the names in there. So
Vicky
Alina
took it
gets
out.
our little bucket of
Yay, my children will take all of
popcorn and crackers
only
and
if you let them know
licorice
that you have it.
and money to buy a DVD. So anyway, and the pumpkin lights up. Woo woo.
Really?
It does.
That's so exciting. That's the thing that got me.
So congratulations. And Diane's worked really hard on this. Being able to show you guys some great ideas for our clients that they don't necessarily have to have dementia. It can be, just activities to do with them. So I will turn the time over to Diane.
All right. Thank you.
And thanks again for coming.
Okay. I have my own. I should make sure the light's still on.
But we'll need to pass that around.
Yes.
When people
So
come.
this is for you to use. Last month we forgot to pass. Well, I hadn't charged the other microphone, and so if any of you were watch the video, you couldn't hear any comments because they were not on the microphone. So I apologize for that. All right. So appreciate you guys being here. We decided that we wanted to give you guys some ideas of some activities that you can do with your clients. And because we're getting a lot of, well, we watch TV for 6 hours and, stuff like that, yeah, that might be all you can get them to do. But how amazing it would be if you brought something with you and they actually had a good time. Because when you watch TV, there's zero socialization unless they think the TV's real and they're talking to people and they think it's happening right in front of them, which can happen in dementia, but it's very, you don't see it a lot. So we would just like to suggest some fun things that you can do. I will admit that I stole most of these ideas from the Aspen Senior Day Center because that's exactly what they do. So I just went through and picked out some of their things and copied it and said, oh, I'm going to use it. But everything on this table, and I'll have, for those of you that are going to watch this online, I'll have Elena come up later and kind of give you a good close-up on what all this is. Those of you that are here, you can come up and look at it. It's stuff that you're allowed to check out. We do want you to sign in blood what you take so that we can make sure we get it back from you. Actually, Allison has paid for it, for most of it, with her own money, so, which she's willing to do, but not so they can get lost. Anyway, but there's a lot of ideas here, and I have some other things over here. I just made up, so we have a box of kind of Lego type things you can do, and while I was going through it, I just made up a couple of them because I thought, hey, that's kind of fun. And you don't know till you try. I got some gel pens. These just came yesterday, and I should get my picture that I drew. I had fun coloring last night. I have never colored with gel pens before, and I was really enjoying it. And I was like, this is kind of fun. Because one of the first things that we do when people come to the center is because we're gathering and we don't have everyone there yet, so we're not starting a big group activity, we take them over to the table and we get them coloring. And some of our newer clients, they come in and they're like, coloring? I haven't done that since I was 5. And then they come over and they color and they enjoy it. And we have one lady that she now has 3 binders full of all the pictures she has drawn, and she takes them home, and her great-grandkids look through those binders when they come over to visit, and she's so proud of all those pictures, even though her first initial reaction was, what? I don't color. So you never know till you try. So I just have a couple of things over here. And there's 5 copies, but I'm willing to make more. I just didn't want to go all out and make a copy for everybody and then have them just sit here. So, but this right here is a list that Allison came up with for just activities to do. So if you've got somebody who's just really, they don't want to hold still, they want to be all over the place, and so you're just kind of walking around with them and going, this is kind of tedious. A lot of things that you can do is get a basket of socks. You can go through their drawers and get all their socks out and undo them and then have them match them. Or you can get out a bunch of towels and unfold them and let them fold the towels. Something like that, because they've done these things for many years and it's a familiar task. And even if they do it wrong, it's okay. They're just socks. They're just, we know how to fix it. So those 2 don't match. You don't want to get after them unless you can kind of turn around and say, we've got this one over here and it kind of looks like that one you've got with that. Sometimes you can turn it into a joke, something kind of funny, and it will work.
I don't know, all these games that are up there on that list.
No, these are things that you can do without using any of these things. So you have this idea, you have this idea, and then I want to go through some of these ideas. So today's a very hands-on, come up and see what come play it. Sometimes you don't realize how much fun something is until you try it. Sudoku came out many years ago, and I just got these off of the internet. I put in printable puzzles, and there's a copyright at the bottom, and it tells you can see where I got it from, and it's legal as long as you're using it for in-home, non-commercial use. So taking it into someone's home is totally appropriate because you're not charging. And anyway, and these are usually things you have to help them with. And if you're like, well, I don't know the answer to that, I did copy off a solution sheet, but they are pretty simple. But anyway, some of our higher functioning people, they enjoy the challenge, even though we sometimes have to fix it, or we just, it's okay. If they don't see that they made a mistake, no big deal, right? These are also things that I printed off the internet that I went to the same place, and I just got a couple of them. and I stapled them together. Stitch in Time, Air Travel, and Move to the Beat. So it's different types of dances. And some people really enjoy these, but they, if you get someone who there's just no way, you can also say their name starts with a J. Find all the J's, or find all the R's. Whatever their name is, you can get them to actually kind of. So if the name is Jed, have them find all the J's, find all the E's, find all the D's, and it's they can enjoy it. If they don't enjoy it, well then forget it. But you don't know unless you try, right? Here's some coloring sheets that I also got free. Actually, I stole these from the center, but they got them for free. So here's something very simple. Somebody with poor eyesight can still generally see this. You get somebody who's like, well, I need something more challenging. Well, and it's also darker, if that helps somebody. So you want to go for an easy pattern for somebody who isn't as higher functioning. But anyway, so I just got a couple samples there. This is a game we play a lot at the center. It's just kind of a fill in the blank. So if I were to say, I want a, you young ones don't know these songs. I want a girl just like the, okay, I get a kick out of you. She'll be coming round the mountain. T for two in my merry Oldsmobile. Okay, so you're like, I don't know any of these, but your clients will. The clients know these. 76. Now, if you know the tune, then it gets even more fun. What I like to do, because I do sing, is I like to just say, name this tune, and then I'll go da 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 da, and then they're all, and usually what everyone does is start singing with me, and some of them are like, what is the name of it? They can sing it with me, but they can't think of the name, and that's cool too. But if you're like, well, I don't sing, well, but there's Chattanooga Choo Choo. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. So you guys have them. Let's see. I've been working on the railroad. See, there's some of them you knew. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I'll be with you. That's a hard in apple blossom time. Sometimes you just give them more and more of the clue until they get it. Zip buddy, doodah. I left my heart in San Francisco. There's a joke about that where the guy says, I left my harp in Sam Frank's disco. It's a joke. It's one of those jokes. All right. Where's my other stuff? Well, I'm missing one. It must still be in my office. But what if I were to say salt and pepper, sugar and spice? If they say salt, is that okay? Of course. Girls are made out of sugar and spice and everything nice. So sometimes you can start it and see how, and then you just kind of keep going until they can finish it. And but a lot of people, at least the ones that come to the center, really enjoy that because you're like, yeah, but they don't have a memory. They can't tell me anything. But sugar and spice is something they've known since they were little. It's something they've heard for a long time, and it's got a bit of a rhythm to it, right? And so mashed potatoes and gravy. You've heard this your whole life. But sometimes they're like, I knew that one. It's jogging back their memory. Some of the songs will take them back to their childhood. Um, and if you're like, well, I can't do this unless I know the song. Well, Beatles, Beach Boys, um, Elvis Presley, some of those songs, they're going to know them, right? So you can also just kind of make up your own thing if you want to. But when you wore a tulip, you know that song? When you wore a tulip. Anyway, it says, and I wore a red, red rose. But it's a song that, okay, so you have to be really old to know these songs. But you'd be surprised at how many, and feel free to make up your own stuff, okay? This is a game we play this a lot. I went to Nancy's house one day and I had like a 5-hour shift, and I was like, somebody came and helped me transfer her. We got all that done, and now what do? I washed the dishes. There wasn't anything to vacuum. He's like, oh no, just visit. And Nancy's deaf, right? So she has a board like this. And I'm like, so I started asking her, what are some things you would expect to see at a Thanksgiving dinner? And the idea is that it's called Name 10. And you just name 10 items. If they don't come up with 10, you say, hey, we came up with 5. We're doing pretty good. Name 10 flowers. Name 10 countries. Name 10 cities. Name 10 garden tools. It's as much as your imagination will take you. We played this game for 2 hours. And I just came up with a different thing for her to name 10. And she was having a good time. She really enjoyed it. I asked her to name 10 states, and she didn't want to quit at 10. Pretty soon, well, first of all, she named so many of them, we were actually up to like 25. And then she's like, okay, so there's only 25 left. And she started really thinking and was not done until we found them all. And I had to get out my Google and say, 50 states, and make sure, okay, no, we've got that one, we've got that one, we've got, to make sure we got all 50 of them, because she wasn't done until we'd named all 50 of them. And I had to write really small. So, but, it can be a fun game, name 10 things you do in the summertime. Name 10 things you would find at a beach, or that you would do at a beach. You find out that they've got 10 children. Name 10 things you've told your children more than once. Okay. It's very limitless. You can come up with as many things as, So, name 10 things we want to do today. Name 10 things. And, they come up with 3. That was a really hard category. We came up with 3. That means we're good. Always positive. We did this, we did that. Yeah, so the paper that's not over here, there's a very long list of name 10 ideas. And there's also a very long list of the sugar and spice, salt and pepper, boys and girls, men and women, just a lot of the sayings. Some of them get a little bit longer. Some are phrases like a foolish man and his money are soon parted. The foolish man built his house. The foolish man? The sand. Yeah. But, it's things that they're, what are some sayings that, I just need to find it. It's, give me a second here. I've got it in here. Well, that's really funny. I think I lied to you. It's here somewhere. Here's the picture I drew last night when I was just trying out the gel pens. And this is quite detailed, right? But I was having fun. But it took me a long time because I was being real picky, but I was having fun with it. All right, so I don't know what I've done with my it must be, I sorted them last night, so it's somewhere, but I'll find it after we're done, right? As soon as everyone's gone home, I'll go, there it is. Anyway, but it's quite a few pages of the different sayings and idioms and things that you've heard, you know. A lot of the songs, raindrops keep falling on my head. You are my, okay, home on the, yeah. So you're like, oh, that's too simple. Who cares about that? But they really do like it. They really like the name 10. Too difficult to name 10 flowers? 10 words that start with the letter A. 10 words that start with the letter, or 10 words that rhyme with sit. You know, it can, anyway, lots and lots of options. So why do we want to bring activities to our clients? Okay, it gives them some time. It gives them some time using their brain, something they're not doing when they're watching TV, unless they're doing Jeopardy and they're giving all the answers and they're all correct, or they're figuring out what's the other one they spin, the Wheel of Fortune, that one, you know, where they're figuring out the words. But if they're just staring at the TV, it's not giving them the socialization. It is passing the time, but it isn't bringing any substance. So do you get paid more if you bring substance? Unfortunately not. But it does make your shift go faster and makes it more fun. It's a long shift when we watch TV. Especially if you weren't the one with the remote, got to choose what you watched. You're just watching whatever they want, and it's just too much. Yeah.
Do they ever feel like it's demeaning? Because some of the activities are kind of childlike. Do they ever feel like,
right? If they do feel that way, then you say, you know what? I have made a mistake, and I will come up with something that is harder than what I know how to do. I tend to do a lot of stuff where I demean myself and say, oh, well, I thought it was kind of hard, so I brought it. I'm sorry, I'll get you something a little harder. I talk bad about myself a lot to other people. I didn't mean to, yeah. But so I'll go through some of these. But yeah, you don't want to make it too simple. But sometimes what we do at the center, everything's really good for the kindergarten, first, second grade. They're all things that, I take pictures of what we do, send it to my daughter who has small children, and they make them during the day and show me, look what we did today. And they love a lot of the ideas that we do. There's some crafts you could do if they wanted to. But here's just, can you find in the picture? And can you find all of these things here? So, coloring books, that's where you can easily go over their head or you can go too easy. So it's good to have a variety. That's why I chose the ones I did. One was kind of harder than the others, and one was bigger and more simple. But you can do, this one is all the, how do you say that word, mandalas? But so there's a lot of things you can do here. These actually, they make them so the pages rip out. But you can rip it out and then we can make a couple of copies. So things that are more intricate. If somebody's like, the other one's too easy, then you can give them something that has a lot more detail to it. It gives you a lot more options. And there's a variety of things that they have. So, and they might not like anything you bring. You know, these are not guaranteed, oh, everyone loves this game. But based on what I've seen over the last 5 years, I can tell you a lot of people end up liking these games. Especially at the center, we have the problem of 3 people who are very fast and they get them out. And then you've got other people that are kind of staring at you because we went too fast for them. But one-on-one, you can have it whip out as fast as they want, or you can go as slow as they can do. And it ends up being meaningful either way. It doesn't have to be fast. I think this is kind of a weird book, but you never know what floats your boat, right? My grandkids, I mean, they're just, to me, it's too simple, but we've used them at the center, and some people are like, yeah, I want to do that. So go figure. All right, Alina, if you'll just make sure that camera sticks with me here. Here's a puzzle that's 60 pieces. And what you would want to do is, so how you do a puzzle with somebody, if they're really good and with it, they do the puzzle themselves. If they are kind of good at puzzles, but are struggling, you can take a piece that goes close to where they are and have it so that it's, what's the word I want? It's positioned correctly. So it's not turned around but you have it, and then it's positioned correctly, and you've put it kind of close to where it goes so that it's easier for them to see it and go, oh, that goes here. Or you can even suggest, hey, well, why don't you see if this one will go over here? Or I think this one goes over here somewhere. Things like that. So you can make it easier for them. And then, of course, they've got puzzles for any number of, at the center, we have 40 piece. We have 40 pieces that are big and take up the whole table by the time you're done. We've got 60 piece, 75 piece. If they're into 400, 300 piece, I go to the Millers. They usually have a 300 piece or a 200 piece. And they usually put the pieces together incorrectly. They almost match, but not quite. And so I'll go there and I'll fix a few of them while I'm there. And they'll, oh, I didn't know that something was wrong. I just didn't know what, you know. So I'll fix a few of them, and then they make more progress after I've fixed a few of them. The last time I was there, he says, I have a job for you. And I'm like, okay, what do you want? He comes, sit down and find all the outside pieces for me. I can't find them. Or I know I'm missing a few. Find them for me. So I don't mind getting paid to help you with your puzzle. That's really fun for me, right? And he enjoyed it. And then they finished the puzzle on their own because I got them started. I got them to a point where then now they can do it on their own. So those can be very helpful. Knowing what size to, a lot of them, they have their own. And you can suggest, hey, I found you've got puzzles or you've got games. Which one do you like to play? Connect 4. Did you notice that I made a lot of Connect 4s? So it's beautiful and it makes a lot of them. We have like 3 of these. This kit actually comes with 4 different ones. So this one says kitchen. There's one that has different themes to it. And it's a dry erase board. And so you can help them circle it and find these, and then you can wipe it off and do it again. So, and we have 3 of those that we can be checked out. We have 6 of these to check out. I haven't seen this since I was really small, but this, it just comes with a whole bunch of elastics, and then there's cards that then you can just do what the card says, and some are more difficult than others, but you can make the different shapes. This is obviously a rocket, thank you. Because at first I was like, I don't know, but it looks like the picture. But I'm like, I think it does look like a rocket. I had to put it on its sides or put it that way so you could tell. But we have 2 of those. Are any of you familiar with this type of game? I don't want them to fall off. But you have a card. So you've got a cat. You've got
Those color codes
an
are nice.
alien. Yes,
The
they're
ones that are just in black are not so easy.
no, and the colors match. As you can see with my thing, I had red on red. So it's kind of simple, but if you're like, well, that's dumb, I don't need, well, then let's make up our own. How would you make a cat using this? Or, you know, what could we do? I mean,
Those colors.
this is a pencil. Just thought I'd let you know. And on the back, it's a penguin. But it might look like a turtle, and you could probably pass it off as a turtle. So if they argue with you, they're right. So it says pattern blocks shape set, but they actually have some that are actually called games. I bought one and took it to the center, and it was a really huge set, and it had medium, easy, hard, very difficult.
Where did you find it?
Allison got this, so and she gets everything off of Amazon, but I have never seen this game, but my guess is there's lots of different configurations in here, is my guess, of different ways you can put these in to then make, you're not really making anything, but you're finding different ways to get them to fit into the block. So we only have one of those. We have 3 sets of tic-tac-toe. That's a universal game, right? People like to play that. There is a way to win, always, and there is a way to lose, always. But if you both know how to win always, you're always going to have a cat. So, but we have 3 of those. Over here, we just have somebody donated, and we're like, hey, what can we do with these? They're just little plastic buttons, but you could match them by color or by shape, because we've got a little bit of lots of different colors and shapes. You can do that with anything. You know, you can take anything and just, let's put all the greens together. Okay, now let's put all the circles together. Now let's do, you know, so there's a variety of ways to do things like that. This is a memory game or matching game, which I guess memory and matching are 2 words for the same thing. But they're just little, she got fruits and vegetables because she thought that would, you know, encourage people to eat well. Plus, you can also just say, what is it? You know, tell me what this is. Tell me what this is.
Eggplant?
I was thinking a plum, but to me it also can look like an eggplant. And remember, they're right. If they say it looks like chicken, that's what it is. You know, unless you can, you know, little cute little tomato. But you can turn them over and they can match. You can either make it as a, you know, something that you would do with kids who actually have a good memory to remember where things are, or you turn them all over and kind of have them all over, and then you just say, okay, now let's match them up, and they can see them. They just are trying to get their matches together. So it depends on the difficulty that they can do. And if you try one way and you can tell it's too difficult, find a way to just switch it and make it easier. For example, this game right here, where you're like, they can't find any of the words, even if you help them, and you even say, hey, look, there's D-O-U, and if they can't see the rest of the word, then you just say, let's find all the D's. You know, what does your name start with? Let's find all the D's. Can you point out all the D's? I mean, or let's find weird words, because sometimes there's words in there that they don't realize are in there. So I have fun with that sometimes. So, all right. Well, yes. Alina, you've got the microphone. She's over there playing games on her phone. I'll bet you $10. Not that I would blame her. It's kind
So with the matching game, my sister teaches preschool. She owns a preschool and has it in her basement. And one little one was just all upset when she said, we're gonna play with matches. And the girl's like, oh, we can't play with matches. We're gonna be matching the games.
yeah, and you do run into problems like that with the loss of language. And I mean, I identify with them because I can't remember a lot of words a lot of times myself. And so I'll look at it and go, well, you know, that thing over there, you know, and then I turn it into something dumb because I obviously can't remember the words. So I'm like, whatever you call it, that's what we're going to do. That's another story all in and of itself. This is just a checkers game, Mickey Mouse. And it even says Walt Disney World Resort. Do they play checkers correctly? Who cares? You know, if they do it wrong and they say they won, they won. The point is you're now if you can try to get them to think through it, like, oh hey, that's or if they're playing to a different set of rules than the ones you know, then you say, you know what, I'm going to need you to tell me the rules. Where can I move this piece? Instead of getting into a fight with them about how the pieces move. I don't know if we still have this lady because I don't remember her name. I only went to her once and they said she just wants to play, is it Mahjong? What's the name of that? It has little Japanese or Chinese characters on it and you match them.
Oh, yeah, mahjong.
And I don't know how to play it. I don't know what the rules are, but it didn't matter because she told me how to play. And she basically took all my turns for me. But she was having a lot of fun. I had no clue what we were doing, but I would say, oh, hey, thank you. I didn't see that, you know. Hey, I appreciate you helping me. You know, I was just, and she was having a great time. And that's what matters, right? It was her favorite game. She knew how to play it. Sometimes her rules didn't match what she told me over here. And that's okay. So I just started saying, now remind me what I can do with this because her rules weren't always making sense to me. So that's okay. You know, her rules, her game, her rules, right? Her house, her rules. That's the way we play it. All right. So that's pretty much what I have prepared for you today. But I just want to issue the challenge that if you are finding yourself watching a lot of TV in some of your shifts, maybe I would just challenge you to try to take something a little challenging. You can try it. If they don't like it, you can bring it back and try something else, or, you know, just trying to get them talking. But just playing the game, you talk a little bit and they're having to think about the game or they're thinking about the song. You know, I like to do, you know, da 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 da. Da 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 da. How many of you know that song? Da 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 da. How many of you can name? You know it, but you can't think of the name. Some Enchanted Evening. Now, if you're like really bright and whatever, I'll say, what musical is it from? Or, you know, I can do things to make it harder. I can also make it easier. I can start some enchanted, kind of half give an answer, half not. So you can make it different levels depending on what they need. All right, well, that is all I have. So Alina, if you will stop the video, please. The fun thing about